Hello and welcome to a revision session on the battles of 1066. Today I'm going to talk through the three important battles, which is the Battle of Fulford, which happens first, followed by the Battle of Stamford Bridge, and then the Battle of Hastings. I'm also then going to talk about some of the contextual knowledge surrounding this. So let's start with the Battle of Fulford. So the Battle of Fulford is really quite important. It's the first battle of 1066 that takes place after Harold Godwinson has been crowned king by the Witan. Harold Godwinson believes that his greatest threat is actually William the Conqueror, so therefore he waits on the south coast. He's raised taxes to pay for a fjord, that's his army, so he's funding an army there, and he's arranged for thousands of those soldiers then to wait on the south coast for that Norman invasion, which he believes is going to take place in June. The battle takes place in September of 1066. That's the most important bit that you need to know. The army is running out of food because of the harvest, and they want to go home to farm their land. The fjord therefore are disbanded, leaving Harold Godwinson without defence. Harold's brother Tostig, who had lost his earldom due to Harold Godwinson, encouraged Hardrada to invade and take the English throne. So Tostig and Hardrada join together. Okay, those two unite and they try and take the throne from Harold Godwinson. So this is quite confusing because Tostig Godwinson is related to Harold Godwinson, yet they fight against each other. The northern earls, Edwin and Morcar, fight against Hardrada when he landed in the north of England. So again, Edwin and Morcar fight against Hardrada, who has the support of Tostig Godwinson in the north of England. Consequently, they lose and they are driven away. Now, when I say they lose, we are talking about Edwin and Morcar. Okay, they are the ones that lose and are driven away. So at the Battle of Fulford, you need to know it's Harold Hardrada plus Tostig Godwinson, and it versus the Earls Edwin and Morcar. And at this stage, it is these two that are victorious. Let's move on to our second battle of 1066. So our second battle of 1066 is the Battle of Stamford Bridge. Harold hears about an army invasion from Hardrada and marches his army north. Now, the most important bit is the remains of his army. He has not got his full army because they have gone home to harvest under the Battle of Fulford. He gathers troops along his way and then he reaches York in less than a week, so it's in the north in York. Tostig and Hardrada, who were victorious at the Battle of Fulford, are there at Stamford Bridge. Harold Godwinson marches his army all the way through for a surprise attack, and that's really quite an important part. Both men lose thousands on each side, and the most important part here is that Tostig and Harold Hardrada are killed and Harold Godwinson wins. So here you've got Harold Hardrada versus Tostig Godwinson, plus Tostig Godwinson versus Harold Godwinson. Here it is Harold Godwinson that is victorious. So, moving on to the final battle, and probably the most iconic and important of them all, the Battle of Hastings. So, this takes place in October of 1066. Okay, so this is a month later, so that all three battles are taking place in a very short space of time. So, just after Harold Godwinson has won the Battle of Stamford Bridge, William finally arrives. Those winds have changed direction, allowing William to land on the south coast near Hastings. The wind has changed direction, so they're moving across, and William starts his attack of England quite early. He builds defences and he pillages the area, raids the area to get food and army. Now, this not only does it annoy Harold, but it also frightens the locals. Okay, so already he is on the attack, even though Harold Godwinson isn't present. The Normans use a lot of tactics to try and break the shield wall. Okay, the Saxon shield wall is so important in keeping Harold Godwinson in an advantage. So the Normans feign a retreat. That means they fake a retreat. So a feigned retreat means fake. The example might try and trip you up on this. Okay, so they try and feign a retreat to get the Anglo-Saxons who've taken the advantage at the top of the hill to get them to go down the hill. This is successful because once the Saxons believe that the Normans have given up, they break a very strong shield wall, which means that the Normans then are able to break through a shield wall and attack the soldiers. We believe that Harold was possibly shot through the eye or cut to pieces. It depends what interpretation we are looking at. But Harold Godwinson is killed at this battle. Thousands of English are killed, consequently meaning that William won. So again, I'm going to go through this again. So I'm going to do it by here. So you've got Harold Godwinson versus William, Duke of Normandy. Here, it is William, Duke of Normandy, who wins, and Harold is killed. After the Battle of Hastings, you have got the Bayeux Tapestry, which is written by Norman conquest and by the Normans, and it tells you the story of the battle itself from a Norman perspective. That's a really, really good source for us as historians to use. You can get an animated version of this on YouTube if you wish. William's army, so they actually have an advantage. They're equal in terms of numbers, however, they are well rested, unlike Harold's men who have been fighting in battles or, if not, farming their land. He would have had far more soldiers if Harold had waited. They're at the bottom of the hill, whereas Harold Godwinson is at the top, so they're at a disadvantage there. However, they've got knights on horseback, they've got very good archers and infantry, and a professional army. So they're really quite in a positive situation, all bar the bottom of the hill issue. Whereas Harold Godwinson, although his numbers match William, he would have had twice as many if he had waited. His soldiers are tired and wounded after the Battle of Stamford Bridge. He's got no horsemen or archers, and his soldiers form a deep line to protect the shield wall. Okay, and that shield wall is really, really important. The Romans also used this idea of a shield wall and a turtle formation. You may be able to find that. So my key questions to you for this video is, why did William win the Battle of Hastings? Why did Harold lose the Battle of Hastings? What was the difference between the fighting styles of the two soldiers? And how useful is the Bayeux Tapestry? I've also got some key words that I recommend that you learn. So your fjord, your invasion, tactics, Pevensey, Senlac, Bayeux Tapestry, conquest, and feigned retreat. If you are looking for further information, then either look at the links at the bottom of these points or use your White Revision Guide, page 67 or GCSE Pod. I hope that helps.